mean, it's 5 o'clock. Why don't I start the meeting? We are missing one of our regular members, so we'll appoint Ted Sanford to act in place as a member for decisions and purposes of public hearings. Michelle, are you able to read online the public notice? Is that the public notice up there or just the agenda?
It's the agenda. Here's the public notice.
Do you want to do that? Or somebody here to do it if you prefer.
Jay, if you don't mind, if you could do it or
That's-
somebody else, part of the reason why I'm not there is because I don't trust my I have a little bit of a cough.
Oh, okay. All right. In that case, I will appoint Joanne Lawson to act as temporary secretary for the commission. I'd ask her to read in the entire notice of public hearings.
Notice is hereby given that the Farmington Historic District Commission will hold a hybrid, in-person and online public hearing on Tuesday, March 19th, 2024 at 5 p.m. in the Town Hall Council Chambers on the following applications. Colleen and Mark Gilroy, application for temporary certificate of appropriateness to replace existing light post with light fixture, front door light fixtures, and garage light fixtures at 141 Main Street. Miss Porter's school application for temporary certificate of appropriateness to construct canopy for ward dorm at 56 Main Street. Miss Porter's school application for temporary certificate of appropriateness to construct canopy for the athletic complex at 69 Garden Street. Interested parties are encouraged to participate in this hybrid public hearing. Participation in person is at 1 Monteith Drive Town Hall, Town Council Chambers, or online participation is via the link to the meeting on the Town of Farmington's website at www.farmington-ct.org/about-farmington/calendar-meetings. A copy of this proposal is on file in the Planning Department at Town Hall, Farmington, Connecticut, and may also be accessed online at www.farmington-ct.org/government/historic-district-commission or by calling the Planning Department at 860-675-2325. Dated at Farmington, Connecticut, this 29th day of February, 2024. Or Michelle Phelan, Secretary, Farmington Historic District Commission.
All right. And then I'm going to, since I've now gone out of order, apologies. Shannon, do you want to do a roll call?
Sure. Yep, we'll do just for formality.
Yep.
We will run through the commission members in attendance. Joanne Lawson.
Here.
Cliff Mix.
Here.
Michelle Phelan.
Here.
Jay Bombara.
Here.
I will note regular member Jim Calciano is absent today. And then our alternates, John Renan.
Here.
And Ted Sanford.
Here.
And I'll note for the record, alternate Liz Gemsky is absent today.
Great. Thank you,
Absolutely.
Shannon. And again, as we said earlier, Ted will participate as the full member. Is the first item on the agenda is Colleen and Mark Gilroy. Is anybody here on that application yet?
I believe so. I've got to just move Colleen over. So Colleen, I'm going to promote you to a panelist so you can control your microphone and your camera. There you go.
So I would ask the applicant to make a presentation on your application and just give the background on that, if you would. Thank you.
Sure. Forgive me, I've never taken over another screen before. I'm not quite sure what I'm doing here, but in the meantime, so hi guys, Colleen Gilroy, 141 Main Street. So we have one lamp post out front of our home that fell over during one of the windstorms. The light on it is damaged. This has been down now for about a month, and we are looking to replace the post. We could not find an identical post with which to replace it. Apparently it was custom made for a previous owner. And then while we'll be changing that out, we have to change the light as well. If we could maybe scroll down, there we go. To kind of match all of them together. So these are the two lights currently existing next to our garage on either side. One of them is also already damaged from I don't even know, just totally damaged. And then we're gonna change out the front door lights hopefully as well, which are these copper ones that don't really match anyway. My hope would be to put in a new post. This is not the light fixture. This is just the post on your screen now, that we would be looking to get in white. It'll end up being 6 feet tall, which matches what we currently have. And scrolling down again, that's the light fixture that we would like to put on top of the post. It will be in copper, not that brass finish. And then it would match the following 2 fixtures to go on either side of the garage, also in copper. And finally, the final 2 that would go a little smaller size, but next to our doors. So that's it.
Okay. I'll just ask the commission members if they have any questions. I guess I'll start with Ted.
No questions. Looks good to me.
Joanne,
Ditto, I have no questions.
John Renahan,
No questions, looks good.
Michelle,
No questions. It does look good, Colleen.
Oh, thanks.
Gleb.
Fingers crossed.
No questions. Looks very nice.
Okay. Can I just ask a question of the committee while I have you?
Sure.
So this lamppost fell a month ago. There's exposed wires. There was nothing that I was able to do to replace this post for this whole month. I've actually even had neighbors come to me and complain that it's a fire hazard. What is there no other process in place? If it happened the day before all the applications and stuff were even due, what if I had been 2 days later? It'd be 2 months out to get that replaced. Is this really the only way when something is dangerous to?
Well, this is Jay Bombara. A little, obviously not saying anything in my authority as a commission member, but
Sure.
a couple things. One, I'm not so sure it's quote unquote a fire hazard, but we have the same exact issue at the Farmington Historical Society. And my father and I just got a couple of stakes and put it on each side of the thing and put it up temporarily. And
Just to
it's
hold it in
currently-
place. Okay.
Currently that way right now. That way, I was really more concerned not about the fire hazard, but the lantern itself, I didn't want it to get damaged because ours is fine. So
Sure.
so we got it there. And in fact, at some point, hopefully soon, we'll be getting a permanent post to
Okay,
replace.
so you did have to then wait the
But
whole.
but I
time.
hear what you're saying. I mean, look, you work with the town. I mean, I think that there's ways that we can have a quick, if we needed to truly, if it were truly an emergency, we could have a hearing sooner. So I would just work with Shannon and Sandy and we would
Okay,
certainly-
I
be
really
kind-
appreciate that. Thank you.
no problem. Okay,
Yeah,
is there any,
so if I may chime in, we could, if it is an emergency, do it via email and then after the fact, hold the hearing.
Okay.
And if everybody was in concurrence and said, yes, fine, then we could just hold the hearing so that all the paperwork, it gets all caught up.
Yeah, I'd be fine with that
So
too.
there are avenues. You just reach out to staff.
Yeah, I mean, to be clear, if there's any true emergency, don't hesitate. We're not.
Oh,
gonna-
yeah, no, but I just,
I hear you. You want to be
we've-
good to the neighbors.
we've
You don't
had some
want
people come on our property and complain to us about it being down and being a
I-
danger.
yeah.
People like to insert themselves, so.
Yeah.
But I just
Uh,
wasn't sure. So I really appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Can we poll? Is there anybody online or elsewhere that would like to, if you want to do your thing?
Nobody, there's just for the record, there's no one in the council chambers to offer comment. So if anyone is called in to offer comment on the application for Colleen and Mark Gilroy at 141 Main Street, please raise your hand using the feature in Zoom. You'll be acknowledged to address the commission. And there's no other extra people called in at the moment. So there are no
Okay.
hands raised. There is no public.
Great. Okay, in that case, I'll ask the commission, somebody on the commission members to make a motion to approve the temporary statement of appropriateness.
I'll make a
I'll make,
motion. Oh.
oh, go ahead, Joanne.
I'll make a motion to approve for temporary certificate of appropriateness to replace the existing light post as presented at today's meeting.
And I'll second it.
As well as all the light fixtures. I'm sorry to mess with protocol. I just want to confirm.
Yes.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
that'll all be included in the
Okay.
official minutes.
Yeah.
I hope. Looking to see.
Everything as presented will be approved.
Okay, I have a motion and I have a second. Is there any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
It's approved. Thank you.
All right, thank you,
Colleen.
guys.
Thank you.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is Miss Porter's school application for temporary certificate of appropriateness to construct canopy for Ward Dorm at 56 Main Street. I believe,
I
Jackie's
believe
here
it's
from-
Jackie Murray. Yep.
Jackie, if you could please make a presentation.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jackie Murray. I'm here on behalf of Miss Porter's School in Farmington. This is for our 56 Main Street location, which is our ward dorm. We are requesting permission to build an exterior canopy over a set of exterior stairs that we have. With all of the heavy rains that we have been having, we have struggled with flooding in this area. There is a door when you go down the stairs, there is a door which leads directly to right there, a student laundry room. And when it rains really hard, like we've experienced quite a few times this year, the rain goes right into the laundry room. We have tried a number of alternatives. We have sump pumps in the area, and water is still getting in, which is especially a problem when school is in session. We're proposing materials that are used on the building already. The columns that we have would be very similar to the columns that you see at the front of the building. The roofing material is the same material that we've used at other locations throughout campus. And we had this drawn by Kemper Architects. We're also using a contractor, Contempo Restoration, who has done a number of projects within the historic district and is very familiar with what it would need to look like. And you can see here the aerial view of where we are proposing this canopy. It is quite a ways back from Main Street. Yep.
Okay. Anything else, Jackie, or I'll ask the members for comments?
I think that's it from me.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I guess reverse order, sort of. John, do you have any questions or comments?
No, again, just to clarify, you reference you're kind of matching columns in the front of the building. Is that what you're saying?
Correct. So I included in my application the specification for the columns that we selected, and they are very similar in aesthetically to the columns at the front of the building.
Got it. And that's a picture of the front of the building there. That.
Correct. That's the front entrance of Ward Dorm.
And then the roof would be similar structure and size.
Correct. And we're proposing. I just want to get my list. It's an EPDM roofing material.
Great. Thank you. I'm good.
Cliff, do you have any questions or comments?
No, I don't think so. Thank you.
Michelle?
Yeah, this was the one I had a little trouble getting my head wrapped around a little bit. So if I'm understanding you correctly, Jackie, then the columns, symmetry is not quite the right word for it, but you're going to use columns to kind of create, I guess, a kind of similar impression to the front of Ward Dorm. Is that correct?
Correct. We're trying to keep with the overall style of the building, knowing that if this is an addition, we wanted it to look purposeful.
Okay, and then it's kind of like I was like canopy, but it's like a roof. It's
Correct,
like it's like a flat, but it'll be a flat roof, kind of like the entrance to Ward. Excuse me.
Correct. Yes,
Okay.
and just the main purpose is to keep the water out of that pit.
Yeah, well, and that was self-evident. That part I had no problem with. But I just had a hard time kind of imagining it. Okay, that was really all my questions were really clarification in their orientation. Thank you.
Joanne?
Yeah, hi. I drove slowly by this afternoon, and I think that from Main Street, we'll just barely be able to realize that it's there if we know it's there. You know what I mean? But I just wanted to ask about the columns. Are they're the tapered ones?
Correct.
And the polyurethane?
That is correct.
So that will look like other columns. It'll look as if it was made of wood, right?
Yes, it's my understanding that it will be very similar and difficult to tell the difference.
Thanks. Yeah, I think that was my only question. Thank you.
Ted?
Just to clarify, those polyurethane columns, you cannot tell the difference once they're painted.
can't.
And some of the other ones that I think they've replaced in previous years are the same thing, same material.
Thank you.
That's correct.
I think the design fits very well with the building. I've walked by there and it's not going to be overly noticeable. I think it's fine.
Okay, and I'll just ask, and it again, it's probably, that's not really our purview, but I can't help myself. I mean, where's the water coming from? I mean, it doesn't seem like just rain. In other words, you sure it's not coming from the ground somewhere and running in there?
So it could be a combination of multiple things. This is really a big issue when we have the heavy rains that we've been experiencing. We've brought contractors over, we've brought the architect over, and through all of our conversations, this seems to be the best option to keep the water out.
Yeah, fair enough. And yeah, and then specifically to what you're asking, yeah, it does seem to me that I appreciate it. It looks like the design is well within the style of the building and as relatively unnoticeable as it can be. So I don't have any objection. Is there anybody online?
We'll go ahead and ask if anyone has called in online to offer comment on the application for Ms. Porter's construction of a canopy at Ward Dorm at 56 Main Street. Please raise your hand using the feature in Zoom. And again, there doesn't appear to be anyone else online. There are no hands raised, and for the record, there is no one in the council chambers to offer comment.
Okay, in that case, would somebody like to make a motion to approve this application?
I'll move that we grant a temporary certificate of appropriateness to construct a canopy for dorm at 56 Main Street.
Do I have a second?
Second?
I have a second. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Moving on to the next matter on the agenda, Ms. Porter's school application for temporary certificate of appropriateness to construct canopy for the athletic complex at 69 Garden Street. Jackie?
All right, this proposal is very similar to the last proposal. You can tell we've had a lot of rain this year, but this is for 69 Garden Street at the athletic complex. So this is the drawings provided by Kemper Architect. If we scroll down a little bit, you'll be able to see, yeah, so this is the area. You'll see that there is a pit like we had at Ward Dorm, but inside that grill area is our mechanical and electrical room for the entire Hacker Theater and Athletic Complex. And when it rains, water is going in through these vents and coming very close to our very expensive mechanical and electrical equipment. At one point this summer, we had almost 6 inches of water down there. Similar to Ward Dorm, we have tried sump pumps. We've brought out contractors and architects, and we do feel that constructing a canopy is our best option to keep the water out. This one is very difficult to see from the street. You have the tennis courts and then you have several plantings. Yeah, you can see there. So this one is very far away, but similar to what we did with the other one, we wanted to keep with the aesthetics of the building. So the design does stay with the rest of the complex. Really, the main purpose of this is to protect the equipment. Those are the roofing shingles. That's it.
Okay. Ted, any questions or comments? Yeah.
No questions. I think this design, again, is appropriate for the building. The only thing I question is the use of asphalt shingles on the roof versus metal, which appears what is on the rest of the building. I'm not really objecting because I don't think you're going to see very much of this from the road, but I think metal would be more fitting to the building.
Okay, Joanne?
Yeah, I also drove slowly by here and realized you can barely see it from the roadway. And I think it'll fit with the building just fine. I hadn't really comprehended the shingle question, but I do know that the other roof is metal. Is there a reason that you chose the asphalt instead?
Well, I will say that the asphalt is significantly less expensive than the metal roof. So that is definitely a factor here.
And I think you'll hardly be able to see it anyway from the street. Yeah. Thanks. That's my only question.
Michelle?
I don't have any questions. I concur with Ted and Joanne's observations.
Okay, Cliff,
Nope, no questions. Looks fine to me.
John?
No questions, thanks.
I guess I'll make the same comment, and I guess I appreciate Ted pointing it out. I mean, I guess if this is what the school prefers for cost reasons or whatever, it's okay. But the more I think about it, you might have kind of I know it's a strange area anyway. You've got the chain link fence and you need all this stuff for safety and it's all there. So maybe it's not that big of a deal, but you're going to have this kind of I don't want to use the word goofy, but I just did. Kind of goofy looking little thing there. And but I guess I struggle because it already, is challenged aesthetically. It is well hidden and in the back. I'm not suggesting it's a real problem, but I guess, this is what the school, you might, maybe think about it, but I guess I'm willing to approve what you've asked for here. But if you wanted to change it to the metal, I guess I would suggest we can pass a motion that says it's either going to be this or a metal roof, and then maybe you guys can reconsider that, but you're under no obligation to necessarily do that. Would that be okay? Shannon, I'm not too far over my skis?
Nope, you're fine. That's fine.
All right. That's it for the members. Do you want to ask if there's any public
Sure.
comment?
Sure. Again, I'll note for the record, nobody's in the council chambers, and I'll ask again if anyone is called in online to offer comment on the Miss Porter's School application to construct canopy at the athletic complex at 69 Garden Street, to please raise your hand using the feature in Zoom. You'll be acknowledged to address the commission. Mr. Chair, there are no hands raised.
Thank you. Okay, in that case, I'll ask for a motion to approve this application.
I make a motion that we approve Miss Porter's School application for temporary certificate of appropriateness to construct a canopy for the athletic complex at 69 Garden Street, either as shown at the meeting tonight, or if they would prefer to change to a metal roofing with the metal roofing.
Is there a second?
I second.
Is there any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all approved by signify your approval by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed or abstentions? Hearing none, motion's carried. Thank you. Thank you, Jackie.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate your time.
Thanks. Okay, moving on, other business and or staff report.
So no other business, but I did want to share with everyone just a brief staff report, and I can forward these documents out to everyone for review. And if you think you would like, I can have the representatives, the engineers from Princeton Hydro come in. The dam, I've referred to it as the Gristmill Dam, but there's also the Winchell Smith Dam that is behind Porter's administration building at 44 Mill Lane, is proposed to be removed. Ideally, I think they're looking for this summer, they're targeting this summer to remove the dam. It was a timber crib dam with rocks in it to create the dam. They had done a study of this earlier in the early 2000s, and at one point had looked at creating like a fish ladder and different structure with it. The funding for that never came to fruition. The dam has since deteriorated more. The top layer has been washed away. So they are now looking, there's funding with DEP for removal of the dam. And the idea is that it will improve fish passage upstream, downstream, and for spawning for the variety of fish that consider Farmington River their home. It will also improve boating, the recreational boating, the kayaking, canoeing, etc. on the Farmington River. The intent is to deconstruct the dam, and the boulders and cobbles that are in there inside the dam will be dispersed to create a riffle effect within the river. So you see some of that. Actually, I had shared with Jay earlier today, so he was aware I was going to share this, and Jay had some great pictures that are drought condition pictures, and you can see the top of the dam with the remnants of what's left, and there's about 3 to 4 feet of structure left. But the cobbles that are in there, they're going to place similar to what you can see in the photo, and it will create during higher water flows some of that same effect that the dam has from a visual and sound effect that certainly we've grown accustomed to at that location. But it also provides then some protection too, because the fish will come in behind them to get a little protection as they're going up and downstream. So that's what they're looking to do. They've been working in cooperation with Miss Porter's and the town of Farmington. They will be accessing, and all their construction staging will be to the west, on the west bank within the town of Farmington land. And the access will be up from around our sewer treatment facility. So they'll come in through there. The staging will be on the west bank. There will be no active work on the east bank at all. Everything will be done from the west, and then within the river during low flow times. It's in coordination with DEP. So there's a narrow window, I think, from June 1st to September 1st. And then, of course, avoiding hurricanes and any other fun stuff that we have. And they work, it's with a crew that has done this in other areas. So it's, they try to do this as a quick in and out and look at it as far in the forecast as possible. But it will have permitting within the wetlands, understanding there is historic nature of the dam. We wanted to make the commission aware, even though there isn't really a permit, obviously, with the commission, but make the commission aware. The portion of the abutment on Porter's side is going to remain because it's integral to the foundation of the administration building. The portion of the abutment on the west bank is going to be removed. So that's what we have. I'm happy to share. So there's a set of design plans that are roughly 15 pages long. And then it's a 100-page report. It's probably about 20 pages of reading, and then it's 80 pages or so of hydraulic calculations that they need to do. So a variety of calculations that were done, but I can share both of those as well as the photos that Jay was kind enough to share with me earlier today. If there's any initial questions, I'm happy to answer or try to, or at least pass them on. And
why don't I just quickly poll people if they want to ask some initial questions then? So are you asking also whether we think we should, or ask somebody to be here?
Well, if you're looking and thinking, no, there's no need, then I won't bother. But if you would like
well, why don't we
have
go
some
through?
questions to
Yeah.
the professionals that are involved, and it's sponsored with Farmington River Watershed Association as the project applicant for this, because the funding comes through DEEP it had to be to a nonprofit organization. So it's to FRWA. FRWA is the one that actually has Princeton Hydro under contract. They're under contract directly with FRWA.
That's interesting. I was wondering why they were all these reports were addressed to them. I couldn't
Correct.
quite figure
Yeah,
that
so
out.
they're actually
Makes
the project applicant
Yep.
for this.
Well, why don't I just quickly go through and I'll say everybody, just in case, make sure everybody gets a chance to ask something if they want. Of course, you can jump in because this is informal, but I mean, John, did you want to ask anything or feel
No,
strongly?
I'm a big advocate of it, so excited to hear that it's hopefully moving.
Okay. Michelle?
No, but I'll just look forward to being able to read a little bit about it. So thank you, Shannon, for offering to share that with us.
Absolutely.
Okay. Cliff, any questions?
No, I think it's a great thing. I mean, it's gonna make for better fishing for folks and easier recreation back there. So I'm good with it.
Joanne?
Yeah, remember when they were talking about the fishway, and I kind of wondered why that hadn't happened yet. Also, I'm glad that it's Farmington River Watershed Association, so their number one thing, of course, is the Farmington River.
Right.
So I'm sure it's not going to hurt anything, will only help.
Any?
No questions, no.
I mean, just to share my thoughts, and again, I thank Shannon for sharing this. And I did try to quickly get through it this morning, just someone to understand it. And I know that DEP and others, and it makes sense, you know, that they have a you know, desire to get rid of as many of these as possible. One of them obviously is safety. I think this one's probably not as big of a deal other than maybe a boater accidentally getting hung up on there. It's not like if that thing failed, it's going to create a huge problem. There is a breach too, by the way, by the
Correct. By
3 or 4 foot breach near the grist mill. So yeah, it's not really operating. I mean, it does get covered by water. I mean, you know, my initial thought, of course, is, well, you know, it's a grist mill and it's too bad you're going to lose, you know, a dam that was associated. But the fact is, when the water's at the proper level, which is, and typically where the water is, you don't really see it anyway. You know, it is, I do weigh also the wreck thing. I mean, it's going to be great, honestly. I mean, everybody kayaks, they head the other way, but now you could head back and forth very easily, not have to worry about, oh, am I going to get hung up? Do I have to get out and lift it up over this? So that's going to be great. You know, the fish marginally probably will be improved. We can get into that, but you know, there is, for what it's worth, and another dam that they're considering taking down, which is the Lower Collinsville Dam, if anybody's interested in this kind of thing. And they've had a number of hearings on that. That one's probably a little, I won't say it's controversial. I think some people think maybe they should consider what they're doing, because it does impound a lot of water behind it, and there is a lot of interesting wildlife and other things that are there. But at any rate, this one, I don't, you know, it doesn't have that kind of a value that I would worry about. You don't have to, you know, worry about we're going to lose wildlife or change the wildlife patterns. I did notice too, the one other thing they're going to do for those interested is they are going to actually, and Shannon can correct me if I've got this wrong, but they're going to change the grade of part of the bed, the river bed, because it's now got this kind of hump. So they'll kind of smooth that out a little bit to allow proper flow, I assume. Again, I don't think it's a problem. I just point that out if people are interested in this kind of topic. The one question I would ask, Shannon, if you know anything, I couldn't find they were doing anything, but when they show the area of disturbance, it seems like they're showing a little bit below the grist mill where that area is, where you have the sycamore trees and it always floods, but it does have a nice little area. I mean, I don't see any indication they're going to disturb that area at all, but I thought that was, you know, interesting that they put it in the box of area of disturbance. But other than that, I didn't see anything that was.
Are you referring to this area on the screen, Jay?
It's hard for me to see that, but
See if I can zoom in a little bit for.
so below the grist mill, is it below? Then it shows like well, that's not the drawing.
Well, so
Just below it, actually, I
so
thought.
to the north.
Yeah, that's
downstream.
it right there. Yeah.
So those, correct. So what they're gonna do, the dam's gonna come out, the concrete pad here is going to stay
Right.
again, because it's integral to the foundation, and then they're gonna add some stone. Just, I think they said 2-foot riprap in order to offer protection up and around the grist mill. And I believe these, they were shown schematically, but it's just the zoomed in box of work. I don't believe there's anything being done with those trees. So and there's not going to be a significant change in the water elevation, that water surface elevation. So further down in the design plans, I'll share with everyone, there's a variety of water surface elevations, and you can see, obviously right immediately upstream of the dam, there's going to be a change when the dam comes down, but the downstream end, there's virtually no change to the water surface elevation. And then the further you get away, that starts to normalize. And so they're not anticipating a large change in the water elevation with the removal of this dam.
The only other thought I had as quickly going through this was, do you know why they're choosing to remove the other abutment? I mean, it's not a big deal that they do, but I'm just kind of curious about that.
I think some of it was aesthetics. Porters asked for it to be removed. They don't like looking on their deck and looking across to the concrete abutment.
Oh,
And,
okay.
and so some of it at this point, if it's not serving any function, then for them it became an aesthetics element, and they'd rather see that entire bank naturalized then.
Okay, my last thought, it's not anything more than that. I mean, I don't think they need to do any archaeological survey or anything, but I don't know. Could there possibly be anything in there or behind the dam, or I don't know. I mean, is it?
So they did do boring to understand the depth of material. So there is some impoundment material behind the dam, but they don't believe, I did read the report word for word. It was exciting reading. But they did some borings in this area, and to understand the depth of the material and to understand the nature of it. So they took a look, and it's very gravelly material. So it's not silty and clayey. So with the gravelly material, it's easily in high storms transported and moved. And they believe that this material that is located here immediately upstream of the dam is actually more to do with the sinuous pathway of the Farmington River in this area and the confluence with the Pequabic than it really is an impoundment of material from the dam. So my guess is that material has been suspended, moved, dropped, resuspended, moved, dropped. So it's probably unlikely. I can ask, I'm not sure what type of SHPO review that they do,
Yeah.
or if it's one of those that if they come across something, then it's
They'll
like
save it.
time out and do what they need to do to appropriately address it.
Yeah, they find any gold bars, those are mine. I dropped them.
Absolutely,
Okay.
clearly.
Well, that's great. I mean, Shannon has offered, I mean, I guess I don't necessarily feel we need to have somebody come and address us, but does somebody feel strongly we should have somebody come? Do you want a presentation? I mean, I could go either way, I suppose.
I agree with you, Jay.
Okay.
I suppose if you're really interested, they will be coming to wetlands, so you could always
Oh,
call
there you
into the
go.
wetlands meeting. to
Will it
get-
be public? You'll be able to ask questions?
Is,
Would the chairman
not-
allow
it's
you to
not
ask
a-
questions?
it's not a public hearing, but we could
Ask the chair to be,
ask the
Accommodate.
chair to allow, yeah, if there's, I can get in touch with the chair. The chair currently is Ned Stachin.
I don't, you know, I don't know if people will feel they want to, but yeah, so that's good. So Shannon said she'd be sending those around. So read them. If somebody sees something in there and it makes them decide differently, you know, let Shannon and I know, and maybe we could still have them there, but let's assume for the moment that we
No.
appreciate that, but there's no need for
Not
them.
necessary. Okay.
Is there anything else on your agenda or no?
I don't have anything else from a planner's report standpoint.
Do any
Maybe.
commission members have anything they wanted to bring up or address?
Shannon, this is Michelle. I was just curious about the Main Street address close to Highland Park Market. It looks like the construction on the home has been stalled for like a couple, 3 years now. Is there any, do you know of anything, or it's kind of an eyesore?
You mean where they poured the
The
foundation?
foundation and nothing.
Yeah.
No, they poured the foundation and that's it. And I believe the prospective homeowner, moved on from that opportunity for a variety of reasons. And so the developer and property owner then stopped the construction. And I don't believe there's been renewed interest in that.
All right, sometimes I see cars parked there, but very, very, very sporadically. I was just curious. Thank you.
My guess is it honestly could be somebody having at either one of the adjoining properties, having friends over and using the facility as overflow parking for their benefit, but I'm not aware of anything moving with that at all at this particular point.
Okay, thank you.
I had heard the same thing from the contractor that he was only gonna build if he had a buyer and the
Wow.
sale fell through. Same thing.
That's tough. Wow. Anybody with anything else?
No, we've lost Cliff and John.
Okay, I guess they had nothing then.
They
And
had
that, then I
questions
guess,
for me.
We have
Okay.
time to do the minute.
I guess I'll adjourn the meeting.
Oh, we
We're
gotta
losing
do-
everybody.
well, you wanna do the minutes?
All right, thanks, everybody. We'll see you in a month.
Thank you.
Meeting minutes.
Whoa, I
Meeting
forgot.
minutes, if you want, oh, we can always do them in April. I think we just
Do we have
left.
enough people to approve
We
them?
have a minute. We have our one.
We do. So Michelle,
we have
hang
a-
on.
Can I get a motion to approve the minutes of the February meeting? I read them, they seem fine.
I make a motion that we approve the February meeting minutes.
And I'll
Well-
second that.
Thank you, Michelle. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed?
Bye.
All right, now I'll adjourn the meeting.
Okay.
officially.